You saved Rome. Now Rome wants you dead. 10 gladiators are closing in. The same torches that burned the city are hunting you. Your blood is on the stone. You have 60 seconds to clear this alley. Survive, or your head ends up on a spike before sunrise. How did you get here? Bleeding in a back alley, a hero one day, a corpse to be the next? I'll tell you, but to understand the alley, we have to go back. Not 3 days, not 3 months. We're going all the way back to the pit. Your life doesn't start with honor. It starts in the dirt. You're a slave. That's it. That's the whole sentence. Somebody bought you. They didn't buy you to work the fields or pour wine. They bought you to bleed for a paying crowd. Your name? You don't have one. Whatever your owner grunts at you across the cell, that's your name today. Tomorrow it might be something else. He's your boss, your landlord, and your pimp, all in one man. Welcome to the Ludus. Your home is a stone cell that smells like fear and unwashed men. Your world is 2 things: iron on your wrists and the roar of the amphitheater above your head. But you're not alone down there. There's a guy chained near you. His name is Cassian, and the first time you meet him, you hate him. He hates you back. 2 wolves in the same pen, circling. You learn the trade together anyway. They give you a wooden sword that hurts more than the real one. That's on purpose. You learn how to take a whip across the back without dropping your guard. You eat the same gray barley mush every meal of every day. That's not food, really. It's enough to keep a man swinging a sword. The Ludus isn't feeding you. They're keeping the equipment in working order. Then comes your first real fight, a melee. No rules. 20 men, 1 survivor or 2. The crowd doesn't care which. It's chaos. People you trained with yesterday are dying in front of you. You can't think. You just move. And somewhere in that mess, you turn around, and Cassian is right there. Back to back, not because either of you planned it, because both of you are still alive, and you're the only 2 people in that ring not currently trying to kill each other. He covers your left, you cover his right. A spear comes for your head, he parries it. A net comes for his legs, you cut it. You don't speak, you don't have to. When the dust settles, you're the only ones standing. The crowd loses its mind. By the next morning, you have a name. A real one. They're calling you the Brothers of the Blade. It's marketing, you know that, but it sells tickets, and it makes you, for the first time in your life, somebody. Years later, in an alley in Rome, you'll wonder if that was the moment Cassian started measuring you. But you don't know that yet. Right now, he's the only family you've got. You become champions. Pompeii, Capua, Rome itself. You and Cassian, back to back, every time. In the cell at night, he tells you about the green hills of his homeland. You don't tell him much back. Your past is a blank. Well, mostly. There's a face you remember sometimes. A woman. Right before sleep, her eyes, the sound of her laugh. You don't know if she's a memory or a dream. You don't tell Cassian about her. Some things even a brother doesn't get. You save every coin from every fight, because in the gladiator world, there's one prize that matters. Not money, not fame. The rudies. It's a wooden sword. That's it. A piece of carved wood. But if you get one, it means you've killed enough people for sport that the Roman state has officially decided to let you stop. Your discharge papers, your way out, and one day you get it. You actually get it. They hand you the rudies. You look over at Cassian, and he's grinning so hard his face might split in half. You're free. Both of you, free men. You walk out of the amphitheater into the blinding noon sun, and you think, the worst is behind me. You're wrong. You walked out of one cage, you're about to walk into a bigger one. Here's what nobody tells you about freedom. It's a scam. You think the wooden sword changes things? It doesn't. The chains came off. The brand didn't. Every shopkeeper who would have cheered for you last week now ignores you. No respectable man hires a former gladiator. Your gold buys cheap wine. It can't buy you respect. Rome wanted to watch you. Rome doesn't want to live next to you. So now you're free. Free to starve, free to drink yourself stupid in a gutter, free to be exactly what they always thought you were. Cassian sees the way out before you do. They respect one thing more than a gladiator, he tells you one night, a soldier. The legions, the army that built the empire, they're always hungry for men who already know how to kill. You sign up, and the legion is a shock. In the arena, you were a god, 40,000 people screaming your name. In the legion, you're nobody, a number, a cog. You dig ditches, you build walls, you march 20 miles a day under a sun that wants you dead. But here's the thing, the skills carry over, the reflexes, the read on a man's eyes, the cold math of who lives, who dies, that doesn't go away. You start to climb, legionary, then decanus, squad leader, then optio, the officer who steps up if the centurion falls. The little fights you're given to handle, you handle them weird. You don't fight by the book, you fight like a man who survived the pit, traps, tricks, doing the unexpected thing 2 seconds before anyone else expects it. You start winning. Big. Then comes the East. Your legion sacks a city, and let me be clear, sack is a clean word for an ugly thing. It's slaughter, it's screaming, it's drunk soldiers doing what drunk soldiers do to a city that lost. And in the middle of it you see her, Livia, a noblewoman. 2 of your own men have her by the arms, dragging her towards something you don't want to think about. She's terrified. But her eyes are furious, not crying or pleading, burning. For half a second, she looks at you like she recognizes you. You tell yourself you imagined it. Then you do something nobody understands. Years of pay, every coin you've saved since the Rudies, your entire fortune, you hand it to your own comrades and you buy her out of her own captivity, and then you set her free. Cassian was there too. You'll think about that later. The way he looked at her. Then the way he looked away. A little too fast for a man who hadn't seen anything. She doesn't run. That's the part that surprises you. She could've. You gave her a horse. You told her to go. She stays. She tells you later that she stayed because you were the first man in 3 weeks who looked at her like a person, not a prize. So she stays. And slowly, something happens that neither of you expected. She's noble. Educated. She knows which fork is which at a senator's table, and she starts teaching you the right words, the right way to stand, how to talk to powerful men without looking like a thug. You fall in love, not like in the songs, deeper, quieter, the kind of love you didn't think you were allowed to have. You marry her. Cassian is the best man at the wedding. He claps you on the back. He calls Livia his sister. You will remember those words. Years later, in an alley, bleeding. For the first time in your life, you have a family, and then your career goes vertical. You get your own legion. Your name starts spreading. The barbarian slayer, the hammer of the north. Senators who wouldn't have spit on you 5 years ago start writing you letters. Then comes the test. A massive Germanic horde, not a raid, an army, comes pouring across the Danube. They're marching on Rome itself. Rome. The actual city. The Senate panics. They need a commander. They turn to you. They give you everything they have left. It's not enough. You're outnumbered 3-1. The night before the battle, Cassian stands next to you in the command tent. His voice has a tremor he can't quite hide. Like old times, he says. Just more of them. You put a hand on his shoulder. We've fought worse odds in the arena with less. The next morning, you don't give your troops a speech about glory or the gods. You don't have time for that. You tell them this. You're not fighting for Rome. Rome doesn't know you exist. You're fighting for the man standing next to you. You're fighting for tomorrow. That's all. and you fight. You're about to win the battle that makes you a legend. You don't know yet that the legend is what gets you killed. The fight is your masterpiece. You use the terrain. You feign a retreat that pulls their cavalry into a bog. You set arena traps on a battlefield. You lead the final charge with Cassian on your right, back to back, just like the pit. You win. You actually do it. You save Rome. You ride home, not as a former slave, not as a former gladiator, as Rome's greatest living champion. The Senate votes you a triumph. That's the highest honor a Roman can get. A parade through the city, a laurel crown, a god for a day. You think you finally arrived. You think you're finally home. You're about to find out what home actually costs. The triumph is a dream, a golden chariot, your face painted red. That's tradition. You don't ask why. There's a slave riding behind you holding the laurel crown over your head, and his only job is to whisper one thing in your ear, over and over. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. He says it the whole parade. Memento mori. Memento mori. You'll think about him later. You'll wonder if he knew something the rest of Rome didn't. The crowd is screaming. The flowers are landing in your chariot like rain. This is everything. This is the moment a man like you was never supposed to have. And then your chariot rolls past the Senate House. The senators are lined up on the steps. Polite applause, polite smiles, smiles that didn't reach their eyes. You see it for half a second and your stomach drops, because it's not gratitude on those faces. It's calculation or fear. Here's the thing about powerful men. They don't trade in armies. They don't trade in glory. They trade in power. And you just walked into Rome with the loyalty of every legion and the love of every citizen. To them, that doesn't make you a hero. That makes you a king in waiting, a threat to be managed. The days after the triumph are weird. The arena of swords becomes the arena of whispers. Men who would have crossed the street to avoid you are suddenly inviting you to dinner. Senators are smiling at you. Their wives are flirting with you. You hate it. You don't know the rules. Livia thrives in it. You're not a general anymore, she tells you one night. You're a power. We have to lock it in. Her voice has something in it you haven't heard before. Cold, like she's looking at people like pieces on a board. You tell yourself it's the new world she grew up in. She's just better at it than you are. Cassian's changing too, but the other direction. He drinks too much. He gambles money he doesn't have. He's keeping company with men who hate you, disaffected aristocrats, bitter old families, the kind of senators who lost influence the day you saved Rome. One night, he leans over a wine cup, his words slurring together. They're scared of you, brother. He puts a hand on your arm. We could have it, all of it, the whole city. You laugh it off. He's drunk. He's been drunk for weeks. He doesn't mean anything. That's what you tell yourself. That's the seed that's already growing. You try to do good. You propose land grants for your veterans, men who fought for you, men who deserve it. The Senate stalls. The Senate needs to discuss it. The Senate has concerns. They don't see a fair reward for soldiers. They see you building a power base. Then one night you go to bed and there's a folded scrap of parchment on your pillow. 5 words, scratched into it like the writer was angry. Beware, the blood you trust. You read it twice. Blood, blood you trust. Whose blood do you trust? The 2 people you die for. That's who. You burn the parchment. You watch it curl into ash. The ash you can get rid of. The words you can't. In the morning, you ask the household, who came in last night? Who placed it? Nobody knows. Nobody saw a thing. But there's a slave girl, the young one, the one who turns down Livia's bed at night. She won't meet your eye. Not that day. Not the day after. Not the day after that. You mean to ask her. You don't. Pay attention. That's a name without a face you don't have time to learn yet. We'll come back to her. Now, you're watching. A look between Livia and a senator at a dinner. A look that lingers 2 seconds too long. Cassian, in a corner with men you know hate you, going quiet when you walk in. Pieces, just pieces. You tell yourself you're being paranoid, the warnings in your head, that's all. And then comes the banquet, hosted by a senator who hates you, your most public critic, the one man in Rome you'd actually pay to avoid. And both Livia and Cassian insist you go. Insist. You sit at that long table eating food you don't taste, surrounded by people laughing at jokes you don't get, and you start to feel something you've never felt before. You feel like you're in a play, and every other person at the table has read the script, except you. You watch Livia put her hand on the host's arm, just for a second, the kind of touch a woman gives a man she knows very well. You watch Cassian whisper into another senator's ear. Both of them glance at you. Both of them look away. The warning starts ringing in your skull like a bell. Beware the blood you trust. You make an excuse, a headache. You leave early. You decide to walk home, through the back alleys. Quieter, faster. No crowds, no prying eyes. You almost didn't go to that banquet. You should have trusted that. You'll spend the rest of your life wishing you had. The alley is too quiet. A soldier knows what too quiet means. Too quiet means somebody's holding their breath. Too quiet means somebody's waiting. You start to turn, and that's when both ends of the alley seal off. Torches flare to life. 10 figures. They don't move like thugs. They move like gladiators. Trident and net. Twin daggers. The Murmillo's heavy shield. You know that stance. You invented that stance. These aren't muggers, these are professionals, and they were sent here. A figure walks out of the dark behind them, wearing a senator's robe. The torchlight catches his face. Cassian. It's a physical hit. You feel it in your knees. Cassian, your voice doesn't sound like your voice. It sounds like a kid's. He doesn't smile. There's nothing in his face. It didn't have to be this way, he says. You should have listened to her. Her? Which her? The slave girl who wouldn't meet your eye? Livia? The face from the dream you've never named? It hits you that there are too many women in your life now who knew the truth before you did. You never understood power, brother. And then she steps out of the shadow next to him. Livia. She doesn't look at you. That's the part that breaks something in your chest. She doesn't look at you like you're already dead, like you've been dead for a while and she's just been waiting for the body to catch up. Why? The word comes out of your throat like it's been ripped. It's Livia who answers, not Cassian. Her voice is colder than anything you've ever heard from her. You're the past, she says. A glorious past, but Rome doesn't need glorious anymore. Rome needs a man who understands the Senate. She puts her hand on Cassian's arm, right in front of you. They've promised him your legions, your titles, your name, a small pause, the cruelest one of all, and a new wife, a patrician girl, once his period of mourning for his sister is over. There it is. It's erasure, not just murder. They're going to rewrite your life. Cassian draws his sword. It's a beautiful blade, Damascus steel, a gift from you on the day he made centurion. He's about to kill you with it. The men are ready, he says to the gladiators. Make it look like a robbery. For 1 second, you can't move. For 1 second, you're just a man whose wife and best friend just told him he doesn't exist. Then the second ends, and what's left isn't a general, it's not a husband, it's not a senator's friend. All of that dies right there on that stone in one breath. What's left is the gladiator, the thing they made in the pit. You have no shield, no armor, just the ornamental sword on your belt, the kind nobles wear that's never tasted blood. You rip your cloak off your shoulders and wrap it around your left arm. That's your shield now. The gladiators come at you. They expect a soft kill, a senator, a general, someone who hasn't held a real blade in 5 years. They forgot what you used to be. You don't fight like a soldier. Soldiers fight in formation. Soldiers fight by the book. You fight like an animal in a corner. You fight like the man who survived the pit at 15 years old. Brutal. The dirty kind. The first one comes too eager. You let him commit. One slash of your sword and he's gone. 2 seconds, one down. You're using his sword now. You take the alley apart. Each man you put down is a verdict. You're not killing them for your life. You're killing them for the wedding, for the Rudies, for the cell you and Cassian shared, for every coin you saved, every wound you took, every time you trusted somebody who was already counting your money. You're wounded, bad. Your side is wet with your own blood. You don't feel any of it. When the dust settles, you're the only one standing in a pile of bodies. Cassian and Livia haven't moved. He hasn't even raised his sword. The great warrior, the brother of the blade, he hasn't raised his sword. He's a coward. You walk toward him, slow, bleeding. You're not in a hurry. He finally lifts the blade. His hand is shaking. You disarm him in 2 moves, the same 2 moves you taught him in the pit 20 years ago. His sword hits the stone. Your blade is at his throat. You look in his eyes. You're looking for the kid who covered your left flank. You're looking for the man who was best man at your wedding. You're looking for anybody you knew. Nothing, just a stranger who started crying. He starts begging, words tumbling out, promises, apologies, money, anything. You don't hear him. One thrust, clean, done. He drops. Now there's just Livia. She hasn't moved, she hasn't screamed, she hasn't run. You raise your sword, the steel is still red with him. You look at her for a long time, and here's where it hits you. The face from the dream, the woman before sleep, the eyes you've been remembering since before you knew her name. It was her. It was always her. And now you'll never know, never, for the rest of your life, if you actually loved her, or if you just spent 20 years trying to save the face from a dream you couldn't even remember properly. You'll never know. You only say, leave. She runs. You stand in the alley. You don't follow her. You don't go after her. You don't shout. You just stand there. After a while, you sit down. Right there, among the bodies, your back against the stone wall. You can feel the blood from your side soaking through your tunic into the dust. You don't bandage it. A gladiator wears his wounds. You sit there for hours. When the sky to the east starts to turn gray, that pale, almost dawn color, you stand up. Your warhorse is tied at the corner of the next street. He recognizes you. He doesn't care that you're covered in blood. You don't go home. Don't pack a bag. There's nobody to say goodbye to anyway. So, you ride out of Rome. You ride past the gates you defended, past the road you marched in on with the triumph, past the columns the Senate built for the old you, the version of you they're already erasing right now while you ride. You're a man with no home, no name, no future. You've had 10 names. None of them were yours. You'll choose a new one on the road. You haven't yet. But you're alive. And in Rome, in this Rome, being alive is its own form of revenge. For now, that's enough.